catalyst, again, the idea is that they want to change something. They do not start, in my literature, with a clear vision of the end product. They start really with the idea that what they want is an improvement over what exists now. In fact, a number of the catalysts told me that they didn't even begin with a positive image at all. They just started with a negative image. That is, they didn't want to put up with things as they were. They couldn't stomach them anymore. And that's what, in some cases, drove them to take some action. The catalyst realizes fairly quickly that he or she really can't get the job done. If it's a job that's really important, it's going to require more than a single individual. And so the catalyst seeks out someone who has the same kind of commitment to the same set of goals as he or she has. It's not just a catalyst, but they're pairs. They work together. Oftentimes, the partner that is chosen fills in the gaps and the shortcomings of the original catalyst. And so they complement each other. These two people then, and it usually is two people, start out to begin to build teams. They start initially with their own networks to say, well, who has a self-interest, or another way of saying it, who is a stakeholder that will help us along this journey toward addressing a serious problem. They often use what in the literature is called a snowball effect, in which you bring on other people as part of your team, and these people recognize, hey, so-and-so can also help us. They have to take on a task that's simple enough that they will complete it and do it well. And I call this stage the transformation. And I found it in virtually every case that these teams take on tasks that are simple enough that they're going to succeed, and they're going to now build their credibility, which allows them to be better leaders. Once the transformation has occurred, then they really begin to get serious about moving on toward their goals. And they begin to do what I call possibility thinking. What is it that we can do? Very often what they will do now is to seek out examples of success stories in other places and other environments. And they begin to bring those in and to adapt them to their own situation. There are two basic sets of assets that we have to build on. One, we have assets that are local. I refer to those as internal assets. But there are also assets which don't exist in the community, but do exist, and it's a matter of reaching out and finding them. In a world which is connected together with the internet, the list of these external assets is just literally unlimited. They all begin these projects with a high degree of energy, but these people have lives in which they have families and children and obligations, and the energy just isn't there to sustain it as volunteers. And so the most successful projects, I find, form a formal organization. One of the keys with this agency is you have to get the right people on the bus. And by that, I mean that they will have at least two qualities. One, they will have competence. They understand their craft. They know how to get things done. And a second component, which is just as important, and just as important, are the soft skills of building and sustaining relationships, being able to relate to other people. And so when you find that combination of traits of both the professional competence and the ability to work with other people, you got a great situation. Now, the catalysts don't step aside. They remain on this. But it's not their task to do this every day. This now becomes the professional staff working with the catalysts. They begin to identify clear projects that need to be done. In the model itself, what it suggests is that there's no straight line between where you want to be and where you are. You'll have to go and circumnavigate, and there'll be many failures along the way. And so you fight through your own mistakes, which become some of the impediments. So through persistence and just staying with it, by and large, they fulfill their projects. The project then yields results. And the smart community, and this is the thing that really distinguishes the ordinary community from the extraordinary community, the smart community takes the gains and invests and reinvests in the community itself. The community that can do that and can stay with it will eventually achieve what I call an extraordinary community. And by that I mean that they have good jobs, good schools, good health care, good housing, and safe neighborhoods. I want to come back to this one point, that community development that doesn't create jobs is not likely to be sustained. And so you think in terms of the creation of jobs. That's your foundational piece, because without jobs your community cannot sustain its population, can't build its infrastructure. And so jobs becomes the first priority, and good schools and good education is often the way to get to those good jobs. The extraordinary community, by and large, then, will have to be constantly sensitive to the changes. The environment is changing so very rapidly that this process doesn't end there. It's just simply the first phase. You'll have to continually renew yourself, make the adjustments to the new environment, and move forward.